We're back in regular session at 10:36, June 1st, 2023. Call the roll, please.
Barron,
Yes.
Alt, Awful, Whitlow, Sure,
Yes. Okay, next item on the agenda is approval of the liquor licenses. There's two situations to look at here. One is right here on this piece of paper, you have all of the different liquor licenses throughout the county that need to be renewed.
So one thing I want to note on the list of liquor licenses, the ones that are highlighted, so number 67 DX3 DBA The Isles, and number 76 Lakeview Operations LLC DBA Lakeview Country Club, have not gotten their applications to me yet. Actually, The Isles, I saw Kevin walk by, so he was supposed to deliver his this morning. But Lakeview should be getting theirs to me, I think either later today or tomorrow. The email I got, it said it would be submitted by tomorrow, but I didn't pay attention to what day the email was originally sent. So I haven't received their applications. Right now, they're not in any trouble as far as we've not suspended their license. The state hasn't suspended their license. So I don't see a problem. It's just a matter of submitting the application and the money to us. So we are waiting for those two.
So we could approve them today, subject to their receipt before the county board meeting.
Right, because we usually do a separate motion for these at the county board meeting.
Okay, now, the other thing that we want to consider here is this redoing the ordinance on all of these. And this is in response to Mr. Martin from the Topper that was here at our meeting last month. He's wanting to be able to open on Sunday mornings because he claims that the bars within the city limits of Watseka are open, and a lot of his clients are going over there on Sunday mornings to drink Bloody Marys, I guess it is, they do. Why they can't control themselves better on Saturday night is beyond me. Another question.
This has to do just with the one.
What we're doing here, what we're looking at is redoing the ordinance. By redoing the ordinance, we would allow.
Everybody in the county?
By redoing the ordinance, we would allow Mr. Martin to serve liquor on Sunday mornings before the 12 o'clock.
And it's the only person who will be affected, the only outfit.
No, the way this is written, anybody that has, any one of these people that have a license could do the same thing.
They can apply for it.
Right, this is not specific to Mr. Martin. The only question that I have about this ordinance, and I've looked at it already, is that it does not state a specific time at which they could open up on Sunday mornings, which leads me to the conclusion that if somebody says they have to close at 2 o'clock, they could open up at 2:05.
No, the
doesn't say
actual, right, but the other part of the ordinance that you're not changing that sets their hours, they can only be open from 6 a.m. till, or they have to be closed from 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. Sorry. So we have a 1 a.m. license, so everyone has to close at 1 a.m. However, we have a special license where they can stay open until 2. And that's the part of the ordinance that we're changing here, because this is the special 2 a.m. license that we've changed. And this is allowing someone to apply also, so they can apply for the 2 a.m. and or the before noon on sale, or before noon sale on Sundays by applying for this type of license. But the actual ordinance says that they can only be open from 6 a.m. until 1 a.m. and then they have to close from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m.
they
Well,
would-
again, then my question would be, wouldn't it be a good idea to include that in this?
It wasn't part of the 2 AM special ordinance, so that's why we just changed where you're making a special license.
It's in another section of the.
Right, this is just changing the two parts of the code that say that they can start selling before noon. But then when you look at the hours, they can't be open from 1 AM to 6 AM, or if they have a special 2 AM to 6
And so
AM.
that already covers that they would be able to start serving if they get the special license at 6 AM.
Or on Sunday,
On Sunday.
that's when they would be able to start serving. It's just allowing for that special hour before noon on Sundays. Because state law was changed in 2015 that took out the no alcohol sales before noon on Sunday.
So the $250 2 o'clock license, is that also covers the Sunday morning license if they want it?
Right, it's an and/or. I didn't know how you guys wanted to proceed with that. You could do where you charge an additional amount for the before noon on Sunday and the 2 AM. But the way I was just coming up with this by the seat of my pants. Like, I didn't know what you guys wanted to do. So I pulled how they made that special 2 AM license and just added the before noon on Sunday.
I think simple is better,
And that's what I was trying to make it.
yeah.
I guess that's part of the reason why I thought putting something in here about the hours they could open up on Sunday. But
They're already in the
I
rest of the
understand, I
ordinance.
understand it's already there, but I also probably would certainly be.
I know I've read some of the state statutes and they repeat the same thing 3 or 4 times.
Right. So if you go in and you start changing where the ordinance refers to the hours that they're open, then that could open it up to where a 1 AM license who didn't pay the extra fee could open up on Sunday. That's why we're keeping it in the special license area, I guess. Is to allow for that, the extra hours.
I guess I would also be amenable to charging the $250 for being open those extra hours on Sunday morning.
Yeah, and I mean, it's whatever you guys wanna do, it was just,
We're looking for sources of revenue.
right, absolutely. I think you really need to address the liquor licenses anyway, because they haven't been addressed since well, I know they at least haven't been since I've been here. The only thing that you've added is the microbrewery license, but otherwise the fees have been the same at least since the early 2000s. But we can't do it for this year because they have to be done by June 30th.
So what do you guys think?
Making the additional for the Sunday morning? Add additional money for that or what?
It is $250.
Well, I guess the question would be, sorry I missed, it was actually
If
something
you
for
want-
the county, but
What I'm saying I would be amenable to or whatever, if you want a 2 AM license, you have to pay $250 extra. If you want to be before noon time on Sunday, you have to also pay $250. So if you were 2 AM and before noon on Sunday, you had to pay $500 more in total to get that. That's what I think we're saying, and that, to me, I think is the way we ought, personally, is the way we should proceed. So,
And this can be written to change it that way.
I want to go along with that.
I don't want to make it cost prohibitive for people either.
Yes, that's the next thing. We're a smaller population county. If you're talking about raising their rates on it, there's less and less people coming in your bars.
Well, you're not charging the people that are going there.
$250 more
I know.
translate,
You said though, at one point.
$250 translates to less than $5 a week, or $5 a Sunday.
That's one drink.
I mean, they're gonna make that,
Okay.
any real problem.
Yeah, I have a problem with it, period. So
If
I'm
they
just
charge
gonna-
10 cents more a drink, they'll probably recover.
Be
it.
quiet, voice your opinion.
Don't worry, I'll stay in bed. I don't want to
Have to
see
be
that.
quiet.
I mean, I don't know what the city of Watsika does in this regard. We don't have that information, I guess, as to whether they charge more for a 2 AM license, if they charge. more.
They have different classifications of license, so they don't have 1 AM, 2 AM like what the county has. We have
They
different
just close
classifications.
them on Sunday.
Well, that's, basically they can't serve before noon now.
Right.
I'm all for that. I don't think they need it before noon.
Well, their argument is that their competition within the city limits are open, and so it's an unfair advantage.
Or in other counties, they're near the county line.
If we pass this to allow them to be open, we're not encouraging people to go drink, or people encouraging them to be open.
We're just collecting a little money if you do.
When you go to Walmart, you can buy any kind of liquor you want, and we're not encouraging you
Right.
to do that, we're just allowing you to do that, or they are. I mean, that's countywide and everywhere you can.
So was there a motion made?
Not yet.
We're still in the discussions. I'd simply expressed what I would like. I still would like to see something in there that says, you know, open up at 6 AM, and then it's repeating, but that's me. If you guys don't want that, that's fine too, but I do think we should charge more money for the before noon on Sunday.
So we're going to have the regular license, and then you can get a special license for before noon on Sunday, and you can get a special license for 2 o'clock. Is that what we're looking at structuring it then?
We already can get a special license
Yeah, I
at
know
2 in
that.
the morning.
I know that, but
So
that's,
we're just-
that's gonna
what
be
we're
the
saying-
three, that's
What we're
gonna,
saying is we can adopt this,
And
and if we want to modify it to include charging $250 to get the before noon on Sunday. If you want to include the language in there that is before noon on, you know, what time on Sunday they can open up, 6 AM, that's, make that motion.
who enforces it?
I do.
So you're going all around these bars, shutting them down at 1 o'clock?
Well, either give me a free 6-pack or I'll shut you down.
You don't even record it. so.
When I can't do that, the county clerk does it.
So what we can do to change this the way John is suggesting, in the top part, section 1, and then we're in B, where it says no licensee shall sell, deliver, that should say or give to any person upon his premises alcoholic liquor except during such hours. Those hours are listed in that A before that, just so you know where those hours they're talking about. So then we're gonna keep everything the same until we get down to the sentence, there shall be an additional annual licensing fee of $250 payable for a special license that would allow for the establishment to remain open until 2 AM on all days of the week, period. There will also be an additional annual license fee of $250 payable for a special license that would allow establishments for the sale of liquor before noon on Sundays or something like that. So that would give you $500 extra if that's what you want to
Well,
do.
then I'm gonna make a motion for what you just,
Can I ask one question? Because there's an asterisk on here, something added, I can ask a question on it. Also applying for a raffle and poker run license to run concurrently. Is there a charge for that?
There is a $5 fee for a raffle poker license that's a year-long
Just
license.
$5, I think we ought to raise that.
Well, you guys didn't want to even institute that licensing fee because it seemed a little
yeah,
stringent that they make you do those.
Make
What? Well, because the state passed a law that made people have to get raffle fees or licenses. And
That's just an
you
accommodation.
didn't want it to be an encumbrance on someone trying to make money for a family in need or something like that. Or a church or a fraternal
I'm open
organization.
to helping people in need, but this isn't maybe the route I think we ought to go.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to adopt the language as suggested by Brian.
Thank you.
I will second that motion. Do we have any questions or comments about the motion? Seeing none, would you call the roll, Amanda?
Aaron's,
Yes.
Alt,
Okay,
Oswald,
Yes.
Whitwell,
I also abstain on
Sure,
yes. That motion carries. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, we have chairman comments. I will, or no, we don't. We have committee chair reports, excuse me. We'll start off with Mr. Barron's on the management and committee.
Well, I just got a note from the ones doing the tiling, things are doing good there, so we'll report on that. And then, probably talk about the morgue and stuff again. And I'm not sure what else we might have.
Reports from those fellows about the drainage over here, going from behind the mayor's house.
No, this is the tiling in the field. Oh, we're gonna have that? Okay. Is there somebody gonna be there for that?
I hope so. I
Okay.
thought that when they came here last month, they said they'd be back.
Okay.
Who
Well,
was that?
I guess we won't have the report for at least another month, if not two, from the FSA as to whether it's wetlands and stuff, and that will affect what we can do over there as far as tying in and stuff, because we can't put a bigger outlet or inlet or whatever to tie into than what's already existing, if it's determined to be a wetland. So,
The mayor is hot on this TIF district, number
Well.
3, and so that ties into all this as well.
well, I mean, we can discuss it and maybe find some more, because we'll need to know how much water we're actually going to be dealing with and whether or not the existing will handle it. Because if the existing won't handle it, then it's gonna depend on what we find out from the FSA, whether we're allowed to do anything or not, as far as enlarging what's there.
Okay,
So that, after the meeting last month, I got the ball rolling, but they said they're backlogged 2 to 3 months, so.
okay. Mrs. Awful, Health Committee?
Yes, we'll have our regular reports along with discussion on the change of date for July, since it falls on July 4th. Aye.
Jackson's only committee will have the same thing about changing. Charlie, you got something on the highway department? Or, excuse me, Ted, you want to talk about judicial? Jump on the gun there.
We've got a couple graduates from Police Training Institute. Deputy Ravens graduated April 28th, and Officer Blasey also on May 5th, and Deputy Riefenberg will go to Police Training Institute, or he has started now on May the 8th. Got Corrections Officer Medina started in corrections on May 1st, and he's also a possible candidate for a future deputy.
I'm not sure all the things will be at finance. I don't know if you're up to date on them or not, Lyle, but I know that we will be considering a law enforcement contract for the village of Loda, among other matters. It's gonna be an interesting situation because they're only gonna contract for 20 hours a month, or 20 hours a week, excuse me. But that's up to the sheriff to figure out.
That's right. He might be able to just designate a current officer for that then, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I will say that I'm still under the gun with Gilman about joint dispatch reimbursement, and I'm seriously considering bringing to the board to review their, revoke their law enforcement.
I thought that was all kind of included into that.
No. I would like it to have been, but it wasn't.
I guess it should have been figured into the cost. And then they,
Buckley and Cissna Park have the same contract, and they have both paid their joint dispatch fees without any issue or problems.
and they have never been a problem, but Gilman always has.
And it always will be.
Gilman people.
Yep, I will tell you that there was a FOIA instituted by one of my friend over there in Gilman recently about all this.
The system for mayor
My,
tells me.
my patience is at an end, is what I'm trying to say.
Let the Gilman reps go over there and talk to them.
More than willing to.
Anyway,
I'm a little biased in some issues.
okay, Charlie, you got something on highway?
No, not much, because it seems to be up for grab. We got a good man, I believe, from, Craig, what is his name? Can't think of the last name.
Perkinson.
Perkinson County is gonna share time with Ford County and run our engineering department. And, since then, things seem to have slowed down. I got some issues I gotta take up. I don't know what we have for a meeting next week at this point.
Well, there's some issues and some things that I need to go over with you after the meeting. One of which is that the issue came up with Mr. Perkinson that there may have been some misunderstanding on somebody's part. Probably because things weren't put into writing, I suppose, maybe they should have been. Mr. Perkinson is under the impression that we're supposed to be paying him more money than we are. So we'll be considering an ordinance to change at the highway committee and then at the board to make the amount of money that we're gonna pay him be the same as what Ford County is paying. It's a strange situation and one that I guess none of us were aware of in the beginning, and that we thought that because our county is twice as big as Ford County in area and in population, we thought that our county engineer would be paid more than the Ford County engineer. Well, we come to find out that's not the case. And so they're saying, Mr. Perkinson is saying that it was his understanding that he should be paid 60% of the salary from both counties, not 60% of what Joel was getting. So, to me, we could hardball it and argue about it, but we're still gonna be saving a huge amount of money, and I really don't think it's worth doing at this point in time. So we're gonna consider an ordinance to change that part of it.
So that would be just changing his contract for right now? Or are
Well,
we
he
talking,
doesn't really have a contract.
so you're changing the salary for that position then, is what you're
Yes.
saying? Okay.
There'll be an ordinance.
Actually, that could be brought up in finance too, couldn't it?
Well, I suppose it could, but I think the resolution to appoint him in the salary was initially brought up at the highway committee, and it'll be brought before the whole board anyway.
So,
So,
I don't know, it wouldn't make any difference.
yeah, one way or the other.
I was trying to get it through, but I can't get much through as far as the meeting.
Well, I'll talk to you more about it when we're done here today. If we have to make some modification to that, we can certainly do that. That's not.
But you see my position.
Yeah, I need to, we need to talk so we can put some kind of plan together.
Yeah, well, I gladly gave you a little forewarning. I
Yeah.
pushed that and I scheduled to hear about the rest of it.
Okay, I will forego the chairman comments for today. I did have some things I wanted to talk about, but some of them I've already mentioned. Time is running away from us. Amanda wants to give us an update on the sexual harassment training.
We're currently at 87%.
Wow.
Jill is going to, I believe, send out email updates today, with who still needs to complete their training. It's mostly part-timers and contract employees. Those are the ones we have the hardest time getting them to complete their training. But I believe last payroll, we did sent out with payroll who needs to complete their training. We've tried to each quarter send out an update with payroll. That seems to do the best to let people know that they need to get that done. So I think we're doing pretty good with it being June and we're at 87%. So I think that's been the best way is to send that with payroll. And it is a quick video, between 20 and 30 minutes. So that's been our best way is to go through the payroll route. That's all I got.
I was thinking of getting a club or an X to Lyle Barnes and sending him around to talk to
That would be harassment, which would be a violation of the whole thing, right?
But not sexual harassment.
No.
No, if I recall, it's harassment of any kind that is covered.
Okay, moving on, appointments, I got some appointments we'll be making at the county board. We got one for the board of review, and I think hopefully we're gonna have one for the board of health. So we'll have those ready for the county board. Correspondence, the only thing I've got today for you is something from UCCI, some of which is already out of date, which is typical from them because they mail stuff out, it seems like by the time we get it, it's already happened. But a couple things in there that are new. What I can say about UCCI, I'm not real pleased with that organization, but Mr. McGinnis was assigned the responsibility of going to their meetings, and I guess his life has changed to the extent that he hasn't been able to do that, and now Mr. Williams has unofficially picked up the slack on that, so I haven't really asked him to do that or appointed him to that, but so far that's what he's doing, we'll see where that goes. That brings us to claims. Everybody was sent a copy of the claims. Are there any questions about the claims? Claims mostly have to do with EMA. Anybody want to see the claims? You got a bill in there for $1,350 for repairs to the EMA vehicle, mostly with the air conditioning. There's a telephone and has a motion to approve the claims. Send it to the county board for approval. Judge, is there a second? Mr. Barron, call the roll, please.
Barons,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Sure.
Yep. Is there the old business to come before the committee this morning? Any new business? That leads us to everybody's favorite part.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ault. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. I've never been able to figure out why every time I've asked that